Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a look at Trap New to Return, or TNR. But, we aren't just going to look at it as some standard, by-the-book animal welfare protocol. Oh no, we're going to examine it for what it truly is, a high-stakes, tactical heist operation. Literally, we are talking about outsmarting one of nature's most cautious and hyper-aware survivalists. Okay, let's dive into this. Every good heist movie has a target, right? The ultimate mark. Well, in the world of TNR, that mark is the elusive, dominant tomcat. These guys are the trap-savvy veterans of the alleyway. They absolutely don't just wander into a wire box because there happens to be a bowl of food sitting inside. Standard trapping methods, they completely fail against their highly developed survival instincts. If you want to successfully pull off this operation, you really have to get tactical. You have to reduce their suspicion, and you absolutely must control the environment. Section 1. The Trapping Day Rulebook. So you cannot simply place a trap on a sidewalk and just, hope for the best. Preparation and controlling the environment are the absolute keys to a successful pull. The fundamental rule of trapping, it's complete control over the food source. Exactly 24 hours prior to your scheduled trapping slot, all food literally must be withheld from the colony. Now don't worry, a community cat can easily skip a single day of eating without any adverse medical effects whatsoever. But that resulting hunger? That is the primary engine that overrides their natural feline caution. And here is the critical vulnerability in this phase. You have to communicate with the entire neighborhood. If even one well-meaning neighbor slips the cats a secret snack the night before the trap date, your entire operation is instantly ruined. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast between rookie mistakes and expert execution. Listen, standard dry kibble should absolutely never be used as bait on trapping day. It's got low moisture, almost zero aroma, and it just won't draw a cat from a distance. Trapping requires high-value, intensely aromatic bait that emits a strong scent trail right across those downwind air currents. You need a scent that a hungry, feral cat simply cannot ignore. Section 2. Ultimate Feline Bait Rankings. Which brings us to the whole gear and gadgets phase of our heist. If dry kibble is completely out, what exactly do the experts use? Well, let's count down the top 3 intensely aromatic baits used by professional trappers to bring in those really elusive targets. Coming in at number 3 on our ultimate feline bait rankings, low-sodium canned white meat chicken. Now, you might be wondering, why chicken instead of fish? Well, this is the tactical choice for some very specific scenarios. Sometimes you've got a colony that has simply grown wary of fish scents. They've actually learned to associate it with traps. Or think about hot summer days. Fish spoils incredibly fast in the heat and emits odors that attract literal swarms of flies, maggots, and stinging hornets within minutes. Gross, right? When the heat is on, canned chicken is your reliable, highly attractive alternative. Moving down the countdown to the second most powerful scent in a trapper's arsenal, jack mackerel. And let me be clear, this isn't your standard household tuna. Jack mackerel is an incredibly pungent fish with a really heavy oil content. We are talking about a thick, undeniable sensory allure. When you're dealing with older, highly cautious dominant toms who have seen it all, the sheer olfactory power of jack mackerel is often exactly what you need to break through their defenses. And finally, the undisputed heavyweight champion, the absolute #1 bait for TNR operations. Canned mackerel, or sardines, packed in oil. Notice the emphasis on the oil here, rather than water. So the crucial point is that the oily base of these fish ensures the intense scent trail doesn't just dry out quickly when the wind hits it. It coats the trap floor, it lingers in the air, and it creates this amazing aromatic pathway directly to your trap that stays fresh and potent for hours. Section 3, Tactical Trap Setup. All right, we have our mark. We've controlled the environment, and we've got our top-tier bait. Now we transition to the execution phase. Let's look at the actual physical mechanics of the trap setup on the big day. This is where precision really matters. Traps must be placed on perfectly flat, level ground. Why? Because cats are incredibly sensitive to their footing. If a trap wobbles or rocks even a fraction of an inch when the cat steps its front paws onto that wire threshold, that target will instantly back out. Their suspicion will spike, and boom, your mission is blown. Stability is completely non-negotiable. Next, we execute the physical maneuvers of baiting. Step 1. The primary bait must be placed at the absolute back of the trap, slightly behind the trip plate. You really want to force the cat to fully commit their entire body into the trap. Step 2. You create a tiny scent trail, and we're talking just 2 or 3 tiny drops of juice or a literally fingernail-sized piece of fish right at the entrance. If you put too much food near the door, a skilled cat is simply going to dine at the entrance and walk right away, leaving you with an empty trap and a highly educated tomcat. But wait, how do you get them comfortable with this metal box in the first place? And this brilliantly illustrates the psychology of trapping: pre-baiting desensitization. Basically, a week before the heist, you place the traps out with the doors zip-tied securely open. On day 1, you feed them at the front of the trap. On day 3, you move the food to the middle. By day 5, the food is all the way at the absolute back. You are literally tricking the cat into viewing this strange wire mesh tunnel not as a threat, but as a safe, predictable, daily feeding station. Section 4. The immediate cover wool. Let's see how all of this builds to the climax of our operation. The trap is set. The cat steps on the plate. The door snaps shut. What happens next is literally the most critical phase of the entire heist: the getaway. The absolute second that door shuts, the stakes skyrocket. When a wild, unsocialized cat finds itself suddenly enclosed in a metal cage, its immediate evolutionary reaction is just blind panic. They don't understand they're being helped. They'll throw their bodies violently against the wire mesh, clawing at the door and thrashing around. Left unchecked, this panic response risks severe facial lacerations, broken teeth, and massive psychological stress for the animal. This is exactly where the trapper has to physically move. You must sprint to the trap and immediately cover it with a large, dark, opaque towel or blanket. Covering the trap instantly breaks the cat's visual line of sight with its surroundings. Because it can no longer see potential threats or escape routes, its central nervous system instantly shifts out of the panic response. It's almost like magic. The cat drops into a quiet, defensive crouch, its heart rate lowers, and the risk of physical trauma absolutely plummets. But the getaway isn't over until the cat is fully recovered. That cover, it must stay on continuously through transport and check-in. And after the clinic, during recovery, the cats are still pretty disoriented from the veterinary anesthesia. You see, anesthesia severely disrupts a cat's ability to regulate its own body temperature. Therefore, they really must recover in a climate-controlled space, somewhere between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And the traps must be elevated off cold concrete floors using things like 2x4s or plastic crates. You hold them safely for 24 to 48 hours until the anesthesia completely clears and they are medically cleared for release. Finally, you return the trap to their exact home territory, lift the door, and the cat bolts out back into its world. The mission is a total success. The colony population is stabilized, the cats are vaccinated, and the fighting stops. You now possess the ultimate tactical playbook for outsmarting the most elusive felines out there. So with the marks safely returned, permanently protected, and completely unaware of how brilliantly they were outmaneuvered, it leaves us with one final question: who is the real mastermind of the alleyway now? Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer, and I will catch you next time.